Welcome to Color Me Happy podcast. My name is Brandy Hofer. I'm your host. Thank you so much for being here today. I sure do appreciate your time. It is just a privilege to have you join me and support everyone and our creative community, our Color Me Happy community. It's such a beautiful place, and I'm so happy to be a part of it, and I'm happy that you are a part of it too. If you're not a member, you can join. It's free, and you can subscribe to our newsletter too. Because I'll tell you why you want to. We don't email every day, that's for sure. And it's just a beautiful, they're not overwhelming. They're really nice. They'll give you a little pep to your step daily. Because my vision, and when we talk about the new year, and everyone has their very unrealistic expectations for how just a new year can change your whole entire life. So sorry. Not sorry, but my belief is in daily habits and, our message, seeing your everyday ordinary is extraordinary. Your daily habits have the extraordinary ability to help you accomplish your dreams through, enjoying your life without stressing out about all of the things, but doing all of the things, but inserting ways to move forward. Just tiny little things that make your life better. So in general, health and happiness, getting enough sleep, getting outside, spending time with loved ones, having quiet time and self-care, creativity. So my really main goal is and what this podcast is about and what my book is about is to help people connect with who they are essentially, because my way is not going to be the same as your way moving through life. Everyone is unique, and it is I was about to give you the basic last chapter of my book, but I'll let you read it. But it's pretty cool how each and every one of us is here and what it took for that to happen. And I'm no mathematician, but I'm pretty sure it's an infinite possibility and weird things that all lead up to you simply being here today. So I want you to, that's my purpose. This is my word for the year. I see no shame in having a beautiful word for the year. And if you're a part of our community, I posted this little thing, and it's you find your 4 main words, and they'll be your mantra for 2023. And my main word was purpose. So I've been really thinking hard about, instead of just running around and being I have to do this because this is what will make everything successful, and then I have to do this and this, but why? Why are you doing it? What is your purpose? And I want other people to find their purpose and also, just live their best life every day. So I hope all of these episodes and what we're doing can help you accomplish that. That is the vision. That is the idea. And then really what I want as well is impacting my community. So making my community not a better place, but a beautiful place filled with more kindness and compassion. Really essentially the world, but I'm going to start with my community. And my community, we are working on some really, really special, amazing projects that if you've heard in the last episodes, I did announce it. We're doing a very big project this summer, and I just feel very honored to be a part of it. And it's scary because it's so big, and I'm all the logistics of installing a mural are very scary. I've done it before, but it gets no less scary, which is weird. But this one's just almost, it will be triple the size of that 50-footer I did. So I'm rubbing my eyes it'll be good. It's not about me. It's about what it means for our community. So thank you for being here. I'm really excited to announce this podcast. We chatted with Michelle Lake, and she is a local artist and one whom I've admired for many, many years. And she is so smart and so driven, and I admire her because she does care so much about family, and she does have this beautiful life, but she's also very very driven creative, and she's always stuck to it and always found community and always did like self-learning. She was always parts of classes. She was a part of a lot of my classes, and she runs her own classes. And why I had her on is because we are really talking about custom artwork. I recently recorded a custom artwork class, which will be coming out. I said it would come out on the 5th. I'm pretty sure it will. I'm feeling a bit of overwhelm. I took a break during the holidays thinking it would be a break, but my children are around, so it's by no means a break at all. And I'm just being honest. And it's not. I love it because we're like playing on snow hills and stuff, but the house is no, it's always trashed. I just kind of walk past it now. What can I do? Anyway, coming out with this new class, really excited about it because the reason is custom artwork was the main driver for every project that I am a part of and every opportunity that I've had, and building a collector base. It's the like number one entry for building a collector base, and because your return customer is your best customer, and that applies to basically any sort of business. And so it's a great follow-up to our portrait class because I found a way to rock out over 100 portraits in a year, and I feel like my method will help you too. But most of those were custom. I think 104 were custom artworks, and the rest were original for collections through our BHA gallery. So yeah, I think you can too. If I can do it with 3 kids, you sure shit can do it. And here in this podcast, Michelle Lake and I just chat about that. Well, not really. I had to cut out half an hour of so much more chatter because she is so fun to talk to, and I know you'll love chatting with her as well. Especially if you're one who is familiar with our community, you probably already know Michelle. And so if you're not, join our Color Me Happy community. We will be featuring this podcast and Michelle as a member, and we also will be featuring her and our members in our newsletter. So you can subscribe at brandingfor.ca or join Color Me Happy community on Facebook, and those links are in the notes. Enjoy this podcast, and happy New Year. Okay, so Michelle, let's introduce you.
Okay.
I love talking to you. I always have a good time. And Michelle is a local artist and very experienced local artist who I've always looked up to and admired. And we've always bounced ideas. But I mean, I think, and you came for a studio visit one time. We just took pictures. It was before like reels and videos were huge, before I had a podcast.
Yeah.
But you've always been immersed in the art world and part of communities. I just saw you in the Art Queen, so that's exciting.
I just joined. I'm so excited.
You'll love it.
I've been binging all the videos.
Yeah, it's like badass women lifting each other up in the art world moving forward. It's like the best. It's the best. I went all the way to freaking New York to see them. Like, they're the best. And the reason actually, there's so many things I've grown from those friendships, but the reason why I started a podcast and a community was because of C. She's a queen, and she founded Live, Learn, Dream. And we had like this big discovery call, and she's like, you need a new website and blah, blah, blah. And you have to start a podcast, and you have to have a community. Or no, I had already started the podcast. She's like, but now you need a community. You have a book coming out. You have to do tours. You have to do interviews. And at that point in time, I was like, I just paid for a new website and I don't want to.
Yeah.
I think that was over a year ago. And now I'm like, see what's right. So we have a meeting next week because my original website I ran. And then the second one, when I paid to get it done, like expanding was like really based toward custom artwork and print sales and original artwork sales.
Right.
And so much has changed. So it has to be like, I don't have a storefront. That's where you're sending all your people.
Yeah.
So I'm paying every month to send people there. It has to be like a smooth
Yeah.
process and very clear. And I can't do that. So I'm paying someone to help me.
Oh, you are. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, not only that, I
The
don't have,
time.
but okay. I want to talk about you. Michelle, when, so did you study art or was it like self-taught? How did you originally get into, because you're an educator, you sell lots of originals.
Mhm.
Talk about that. Where did it all begin? I don't even think I know.
Well, my mom was an artist. She was always drawing. And then when I was a little kid, she took oil painting from a lady named Lynn Johnson in Grand Center. And she never let me touch her stuff, actually, ever. But I loved watching her and what she could do with, and it amazed me. And then actually, like, I think a bunch of artists in our family, we evolved together. I have an aunt who's a very successful artist in Wabaman, and I have a cousin in Mexico who's an amazing artist, and a cousin in Australia, and
Oh
she's
my gosh.
amazing and like really, really cool. But I always, my family kind of was like do-it-yourselfers, right? Like my dad would rebuild a car in the driveway, and then we lived across the street from the high school, and we had a plane in our yard because with no wings on it because they were in the garage. And they were always doing stuff. So I'm sure nobody I went to school with would have ever thought she's going to be an artist one day, because there was no inkling in high school about that. But I took a watercolor course when my kids were little. And it was Eleanor Robertson from Maidstone. She taught this watercolor course. And I think it was like 4 Saturdays in a row, and I learned a lot from Eleanor. And there was a group of women that we took this class, and we had so much fun that we all signed up for her next class, and it was exactly the same as the first one, but we didn't listen to her this time. We just chatted and got together, and we were enjoying it so much. So then after that, we would get together once a week and have our little community, and we would have coffee or beer or wine and chocolate and potato chips, depending, what
Oh,
time of the month it was.
yeah.
And we went through every, like losses and births and weddings
Oh,
and
so this went on for a while.
about 10 years actually.
Wow,
Off
that's
and on, kind
incredible.
of. It was so amazing, really, really cool. And then it just sort of, we would get together less often. And did you see the ghost of my husband?
Yeah, yeah.
He's letting the dog out.
Don't worry, all of mine enter and exit regularly while I record, although not so stealth-like.
Yeah. But anyway, this was my group, and we loved it. And I did watercolor for quite some time. And then people would say, oh, can you paint like on a cream can, or can you paint a saw blade or whatever? And so I started doing stuff like that. And then it was sort of when Debbie Travis had this TV show called The Painted House.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we had like a VCR, right? It's like, okay. I'm plugging in the tape. I'm going to record this. And it's just fascinating what she would do, like paint bricks on the wall. And I'm just like, I'm going to paint our bathroom. I wanted like a Roman spa. And it was, early 90s, I would say, early 90s. Anyways, I painted the bathroom, and I painted the hallways, and I painted downstairs, and I just sort of kept painting stuff. And then one day, actually, Allison,
Then one day you're a local muralist and you do giant ass murals.
yeah, it just sort of just was so organic, because then Allison Weaver one day said to me in church, she's like, would you come out and paint our kids' rooms? And they had moved into a house, and the kids didn't want to leave their old house. So this was their treat for moving. So I was working half-time at the bank, and I would go out there. I'm sure I was there like, I don't know, 2 months, maybe. I don't know. I painted.
Way too long.
Oh, well, I was like a part of the family.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it sort of went on from there. I took a class with you. You did figure drawing at the museum.
Gosh,
And
that's
I was,
time ago.
yeah, it was quite a while ago, but it was like, I do a class here and class there. I loved your class. We did like, new people. And
We did do some, that was probably the first time that was ever done in Lloydminster.
I'm
I
sure
can
it
tell
was.
you that. I put a call out on Facebook. I didn't know what to do. I was like, I have this figure drawing class. Like, we have to draw forms. Like, that's what it's for.
Yeah.
That is what you do.
Yeah.
Although I had one lady tell me where to go once, and what that meant. It was definitely pornography to her.
Oh,
Um,
boy.
yeah, I was like, it's not. We are drawing the human form. That's it.
Yeah.
Not anything else.
Well, Lloydminster's pretty small town still,
Yeah,
right? So,
and I was young and I had just graduated, and it was fun. It was fun to
fun.
loosen people up and something new. And that's what it's about. And I did end up finding some people who they were first timers, so good for them. They were nervous. Oh my gosh.
Well, the fellow that came to model, I'm looking and I'm thinking,
He was shaking. Yeah.
I should know that person. We live next door to his mom and dad.
Oh, no. Of course.
I'm sure he had no idea who I was.
No.
No.
Yeah, he was so, yeah.
I thought,
yeah.
you go, brave, and thank you for doing that. Like, it was quite an experience.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And you're right, like art should kind of shake people up a little bit too, right?
I think you should be shaken up all the time. If you're not doing it right.
Exactly.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Maybe like sometimes you can shake too hard. I'm in the season of like, I think it's the pandemic's fault. Like, I just got so like, life is short, you can do anything, and what if I did this? What if I could do this? And what if I can do this? And then all of a sudden, somehow in the last 8 months, everyone said yes to me. And I was like, oh, I was not expecting everyone to say yes. Like, that that never had happened to me before. I don't know what flicked. And so then it's this big, it's gonna be years of follow through for all of these things I did. Which I am like not complaining in the least. I'm just a little tired, but I'm like, it's pretty friggin' cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. Like, your energy level, though, I just think, I don't know how she does it. I know you're young, but
tonight I was like, it's weird that I don't have something planned. It feels really good. And then you messaged me, and I'm like, whoops. That's why it's because I had a lot of time for you, and then it was free, and that's the only reason.
Took it.
Yeah. Oh, it's hilarious. Okay, so you went on to where did you start growing and expanding? Like, I would say, was it like the time where like social media helped, propel your business like more online and getting, because what we were focusing on today, half an hour later almost, is custom artwork, and how you can expand your practice with custom orders. And I know I talk about, and in this particular podcast, if people have listened before, that I got burnt out from custom orders. However, all of the things that I'm talking about, most of them happen because of those connections that I made with those clients and those relationships I developed with them. And your best customer is your return customer and word of mouth business.
Yeah.
So it was such an important season. And I still take them. I just increase the prices and don't do as many. So that was the adjustment to help with the burnout. So there's nothing, solidify, there's nothing wrong with custom artwork orders.
Yeah.
And I just recently recorded a class and for everyone to follow up with portrait class, how amazing custom artwork can be. And it's getting edited right now by Kristen Hickman. So I'm really excited for it to come out, because I think it will just help a lot of creatives. Just like it's a way to sustain and support your I don't think you should be dependent on it, right?
Not the only thing, for sure. Yeah. Well, I started, my very first thing, right? It was like, can you come and paint our bedrooms? And then it's been like that all along. And I do love custom work because it's going to sell. Like I
Yeah,
can
I
paint
mean,
a
they have to pay
painting
you they
and
have to pay you half right before you so that's what I do. Is that what you do too? Is a 50%?
it'll kind of depend.
Yeah.
Like I have a fella that has just, asked me for the fourth pet portrait.
Oh, yeah,
And
like,
I'm
in
just
that
like,
case, but
yeah.
so I mentor, people, and I've had a few people, and this can happen, and you always think it's fine. You're like, "They're my friend, they're my family." You
Mhm.
have to with everyone, especially on the first job. Maybe if they're returning, I don't do the
Yeah.
whole down payment thing, but first job for sure, get half down.
Yeah.
Like, even if you're friends with them,
Yeah.
because things can take a turn. Not often, but it happens. And
Mhm.
I had, a mentee specifically, last year happened to. She's like, "Well, they were my friend." I'm like, "I know." And she's like, "I don't think we're friends anymore."
It happens. That
It's
has happened to me
fun.
one time. The only time I've ever had somebody not be happy with the painting was like a
Yeah,
friend,
strange, right?
and I took it back and I didn't cash her check, and I ended up kind of dumping it actually because it was like not dumping it. I don't want to say that. It was a cool painting and it was big. And I said to my daughter-in-law, like, would you like this for your brother and his wife for their new house? And she was just like, are you kidding me? And
Yeah,
I'm like,
amazing.
yeah, nope. I said, I'll give you a deal.
Yeah, exactly.
But I actually I do lots of custom orders on Etsy too.
Yeah.
People, I did some angel wings for a lady and I shipped them off to Ontario. And then she messaged me back and she asked me for two more for her daughters for Christmas. So I shipped
Amazing.
those today.
Good for you, yeah.
Yeah.
Just you must be able to pump that stuff out now, hey? Like,
Some of it is, yeah. And some of them I'm just like, oh, it takes me
I
forever.
know, it's so weird. Why
Yeah.
is painting so weird like that? Sometimes they can be like a few days or like a week, and then sometimes it's like 3 months or 6 months
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
like and you're like, "This last one, and why?"
I know. Well, I did my floral series in the spring.
That was beautiful.
Thank you. It was really well, I'll get into that later, but and I did a big painting at I don't like I don't know, probably 48 by 30 or something like a pretty good size. Oil with two big flowers. And I was just like, I ran upstairs and I said to my husband, I said, I just did this painting. And I said, I fucking love it. And he goes, he doesn't like what I said. I just said, I'm going to go do another one. And I got a bigger canvas and I was so excited. It was pure crap. And I'm like,
It's so
I just did this. Like, how does that happen?
and
But
you probably, like, sold it halfway through making it or something, and you're like, "Why can't I make it again? Why?"
yeah, I know. It's just like, oh, I couldn't do it. It was awful. I scraped it off.
I know, and that's the thing with custom orders because sometimes people want that same thing, and you're like, "Well, it's gonna be similar."
Yeah, exactly. Right. I will do you one in that
I
style.
actually just did that. I tried to make one the same, and I just I'm like, this you don't feel pressure to take it.
Mhm,
And this was like how much I've grown as a creative
mhm.
and into like she's my dream client. I love her. She's amazing. And I was like, I took really creative liberties on this, so I don't want you to feel pressured to take it. I will make you one like you really wanted.
Yeah.
So like if you don't she's like, "I love it. It's beautiful, but I still want the one that I asked you to do." In the nicest way, because I could tell she felt
Yeah.
bad, but I was like, "Don't feel bad. Like, I have a gallery. I have
Yeah.
lots of collectors. It's like it's big. It might sit there for a little, but I'm not worried. Like, I love it. She's stunning. You're stunning. It's
Yeah.
of her. She's
Yeah.
beautiful." She
Yeah.
has these, like, piercing eyes,
Well,
and
I've watched you
I'm
work
like,
with
I
that.
am not worried on the least that, like, this is going into the
Yeah.
gallery. And
Yeah.
my husband, who hasn't grown as much as me in the, like, creative way, he's like,
Mhm.
you just have an extra painting around again, another one. I was like, no. Like that was meant to happen the way it did. I'm happy, and it will find the perfect collector. Like
you have to let that come out, right? Like,
yeah, I took that risk, and I was obviously going to go with it. But like, you know, I didn't want any bad, and she was so kind about it. And now I have another one. You can't see it because it's dark, and but it's like you can't see it because it's dark, but maybe you can. Here, I'll switch on the lights. It's already like, even the underpainting is like amazing, magical. So I'm like, this is gonna be good.
Yeah.
But I have to get on it, because this is my second go. But those things happen, and you know, you can't get mad, because it's lose for everyone if you do.
Exactly. Do you ship those big ones? Do you ship them rolled, or what do you do?
Yeah, so especially if people are on a timeline, I do rolled. I have done big, and I show up to Perlator, and they're like, we don't do that. And I'm like, yes, you do.
Do you do that? They'll take it?
Yeah.
Have them turn me
I'm like, you've done it, and you will. And they do.
Do you create it yourself?
I don't create it. So this is my artist secret. And I sometimes sell off Saatchi, and I know they have rules, but I don't follow them.
Oh, good.
We should like have a Brandy shipping course.
Yeah.
So I don't build a crate box, because that's effing heavy. I get the industrial foam from my husband's work, and I foam them up, and then I zip wrap it all. And if you're really worried, put a layer of bubble wrap on. Yeah. Make sure the corners are bouncy and it's tight as fuck, and that's it. Yeah. It's super light. You're just as safe as a crate. Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, unless someone comes at it with a knife.
Right. I've done like that.
Doesn't happen. And cardboard, like cardboard on the side of the foam.
Yeah. I've done cardboard the home styrofoam insulation. And then I wrapped it with Coroplast and taped that up, and
it's good.
Yeah.
It's nice and light, and it bounces when they throw it.
Yeah. And I've never had one go bad.
Because they throw it.
I know.
We know.
I don't want to see.
That's why I don't ship glass anymore. The Art and Soul does. Yeah, she does the other stuff, so it doesn't break. But yeah, I roll. So I'm just like, make sure you're hooked up with a framer or whatever, and you can stretch it and frame it when it gets there. And usually people are happy with that. They're fine either way. When Sarah Baumler got hers, and it was like, we want it yesterday, and I painted and shipped that big piece to them in 2 weeks, which was insane. So I painted it in like 3 or 4 days, and then let it dry, and then rolled it and shipped it lickety splickety. So
how cool is that, right? Because it's like in her new show, they're still showing.
That's the reason. Yeah, she moved it to Florida. Yeah. That's the reason this designer from Texas, that is the reason she ordered one. She loved her so much.
So cool.
So one thing happened from something else. Like, I'm telling you, this shit works. Like, so well. My current job at Art Academy, where I'm working with youth creatively in our community, and it's amazing, and I love it so much, is because of custom artwork.
Is that right? Hey, I remember
Melanie,
the one for the school or something.
Yeah, Melanie, who works for LPSD, ordered prints for an original piece for, and then to be, and we'll talk about how we document, but to be printed, prints available for their retirees every year. So here's a commission that every year it is paying off because of the one time I did the original, and then they order like 10 to 15, whoever retires. They've had a lot of retirees. Last year was 15. I couldn't believe it. So they buy 15 prints every year. But she came to my door to pick up the custom artwork, and I started complaining about their programming. And I said, that the arts are more applicable now, and thinking outside of the box and having any speck of creativity and standing out is now more important than it ever has been. What are you doing to these students? Like, I was telling her all this, and then a week later, I don't know, the head, not the superintendent, I don't know what,
Director.
yeah, I shouldn't be screwing this up because I literally work for them now. um, so Todd Robinson, at least I remember his name.
Yeah.
I get an email a week later, and he's like, "I'd love to talk to you about your art academy." And I was like, "Really? What art academy?" So I must have been super nice while I was talking about it, but it is more, and like, I feel that for my own kids. My own kids are involved in the public school system, and I want that programming there for them. And it's looking like it's a very positive program. So
that's great.
Yeah, it's great. And we're going to work next month with the younger kids, and it's not just like, I love portraiture, but they were like kind of interested in portraiture.
Mm-hmm.
And then this week we're doing photography, and we had Kristen Hickman come down, and they were like insanely braggy and so excited. I was like, okay, we're on photography for a while here.
Yeah. Oh, isn't that great?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And they're like showing everyone and teachers and super proud of their stuff. And yeah, like that happened because of the thing. So never discount the power of custom orders.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You have like a story or anything you want to share? Like, has any like custom order like landed you in a funny, or like a spot you're like, oh, or a mural or something?
Well, a funny spot. Sorry, my dog is great.
Oh, that's okay.
Hold down. Anyway, I had this fellow for me. This is sort of just humorous. I think it is hilarious and sweet, actually. This older man phoned me, and he said, "I understand you paint." And I said, "Yes." And he gave me this whole story. And he grew up on a farm, and he always thought his dad was a farmer. But he had just found out that his dad had been a stonemason in his younger years. And he'd worked on, I think it was the Royal Bank at the time. Might have been the Bank of Commerce. I don't know. And he had actually been asked to make a headstone for a young man that passed away. And it was at Lloydminster Cemetery. So he found the headstone, and it had tipped over, and it was a mess. And so he contacted the family, and he asked if he could have it raised and cleaned. But in the cleaning, you couldn't read any of the words on it. And there was a lot. There was a big engraving on there. So he wondered if I would come to the cemetery and paint on the headstone so he can read the words. And I was so touched by the fact that, I mean, this man must have been in his 70s, that he wanted to honor, first of all, his father's craftsmanship and the family and the man that was buried there. And I just thought that was it touched my heart. And so I said, okay. So I met him at the cemetery. Of course, I said, okay, why not?
It is. That's so beautiful, Michelle. It is important.
Yeah.
And I don't talk about it a lot because it's not something you can just like shout out, but probably 70% of custom artwork, and just to prepare the creatives listening, is lost loved ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's the best way to capture their spirit without hanging their photo around, because that's just too hard.
Yeah.
And the great thing is, you do, as an artist, you somehow figure out a way to capture the spirit of their lost loved ones. And like, what a beautiful honor to be asked to be a part of that process for the family. Mm-hmm. I actually go one step further and write like a poem on the back. If I know them. If I really don't know anything, then I don't usually have, unless they've told me, which sometimes. So I had one where she loved the water and swimming, and so I wrote but it's just, like,
that's beautiful, Brandy.
Trouble actually charging in those cases. Mm-hmm. If they're close, I definitely do not. Like, if anyone's a family friend or anything and I hear about it, I was like, I will no, I will 100% have that done for you in 3 days. And here it is. And like, if you can somehow give that family any, any sense of, it's just, we know what that's like. And so, but so that's actually a beautiful, the gift of custom artwork, but just to prepare people, like you will be approached. And you know what? And let's talk about this subject. And I'm sure you're practiced and good at saying no to things that don't suit. I've sent so many people your way, actually, specifically. So sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry. But like, if you're not suitable for a project, or you feel it's not connecting to you, or it's not going to work out, like you can't foresee it working out. Like sometimes I push personally, and I'm sure you push too. Like you just went to a cemetery and painted like that's pushing out of your creative box. But it's important. It was important and it was special. So you did it because you're kind. But if you, and actually in my course, I have a whole page of how you say no to people politely.
It's so nice though if you have somebody you can
recommend.
That's
like a bonus. Oh, thank you so much. That's really flattering. I'm honored that you thought of me, but Michelle is just a better fit for this hockey portrait.
Yeah. I know I've sent people your way and Harwell. You know, just like, yeah. Can you sketch my dog and like pencil? I'm like, nope, I cannot.
No. Hey, don't like pencils.
Yeah. It doesn't, not for me anyways, but
but you still do lots of pet portraiture, right?
I do, not as much as I was doing, but I do get requests.
Now for a while there, you were like heavy on.
Well, I did this challenge for myself, and it was like 30 portraits in 30 days, or 30 pet portraits in 30 days. And to me, it's just like, it got me introduced to a lot of other people because I joined Facebook groups from all across Western Canada. And so I met lots of people online that way. And then you get good at it. And I had to do it fast, which actually I think some of those first ones are better than the ones I do now that are more tight almost. Like I need to just try and do it fast, I think. But that was the same thing with my floral collection that I did too. I just did one a day and it was fast and it was fun. And then at the end of a month, you have a whole collection. So, and it was a way for me to learn oils because I've never really had any formal training of any sort. So I'm like, I know they say like whatever, fat over lean or something like that. I don't even know. I hope I'm doing it right.
Yeah, it's been a while for me. I think actually like many of my oils, like I just can't with children right now, to be honest. Like they're so like, you have to lay it all out and like have everything mixed, and then they would always stick their hands in it and then it would be on their bodies and it doesn't really come off easily. So I had to, like, I think mine are all expired, like basically toast. Like it's just not a season of my life, but they're so rich and beautiful. And that's what I loved about your floral collection this time around. Like it was really great. And if you're doing a challenge and it's allowing you to pressure yourself, and great things can come out of that.
Yeah. And part of the reason I did do it too is because that's all I was doing was commission work, right? And nothing that comes from here. And you got to do that too, right? You got to feed
you
that.
have to do that as an artist. That's why, you only take so much commission work, or you say yes, but there's a 2-month waiting list. You don't have to say no, because we love money, and
I do.
and it's an automatic sale. But say, okay, I'm working on my floral collection right now and I have another order on the go. So if you can wait a month or two, if you're okay with that, then yes.
Yeah.
And people will say, okay, like people typically, when they contact for custom artwork, aren't in a rush.
Right. They're not expecting it in 2 weeks or
No.
yeah.
Typically, no. Sometimes.
If they don't know, right?
I know I'll
Sometimes they
get
need to be
messages like a week before Christmas. I
oh, yeah,
know.
I know.
And one year I painted all the way to Christmas Eve, and
I've done it
then
too.
I just like I
Then
can't.
I end up sick after Christmas, right? That's what I would do.
Yeah.
You get so burnt out up till Christmas, and then Boxing Day, I'm there on the couch like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm
Yeah.
exhausted.
I'm not doing it. I'm not even doing gifts this year. I told everyone we're doing experiences, and that was it.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
So,
Yeah.
well, it's just, as a mom and a grandmother, they have so much shit and
Oh,
stuff, and it's
mhm.
like, please don't give us more. I will throw it in the garbage
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
give it away. I don't want another slime set, or anything plastic. So that was our hard rule. We'll see how it turns out. Already my husband's doing a hockey game, and they have grown out of their Oiler jerseys, so he's getting them new jerseys to
Oh,
go
good.
team in. Like that, they'll remember.
Yeah.
They'll remember going to the game with their dad. Like
Yeah.
that is a good gift. My
Mhm.
sister's doing a scavenger hunt. And so like they're going to remember that, like
Yeah.
how cool their auntie is. And, you
Yeah.
know, it's just,
That's so
yeah, I'm
cool.
sick of the stuff, like
Yeah.
all the stuff.
Yeah.
So I have like, they'll be getting socks. So they still have like the stuff to unwrap.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
be giving them what they need and wrapping it up.
You need some new underwear. Here you go.
It's exactly what I will be doing.
Yeah.
My mom did it. I realized that she also did that. Now
Yeah.
I'm a parent. Yeah, sheet sets and like thanks, Mom. At least she took 100. We were older. She took
Oh, yeah.
100 in the sleep set.
Oh,
And,
really?
oh yeah.
So
So
lucky.
yeah, we were happy. It's great.
My grandkids, I shouldn't tell you this. I was going to get them an advent calendar when they were littler, but Addie doesn't like chocolate. Or she didn't like chocolate. I figure she's going to come around one of these days.
Yeah.
Like, really?
She's 13 or so.
She is 13. Yeah.
Oh,
So
14.
she's good now. But I started doing like an advent gift box for them with a little
Oh my
gift that they
gosh.
can unwrap every day.
Cute.
But it's like now they're older, right? Like you don't just give them I don't know, like a pack of gum. And actually, I do. There's gum.
They're still probably impressed with gum. There's something about gum and kids.
And then now Jack has braces though. So like,
Oh no. Yeah,
yeah,
your grandkids are getting
big.
big.
I know. But
Nuts.
anyway, so the gifts get a little bit bigger too. But
Yeah.
and they're going on a little holiday with their families. So their first few gifts are maybe holiday related too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways,
That's
yeah,
okay. I like talking about that. I can't wait to be a grandma.
it is just so much fun. I just love it because I love to be a kid again, right? I get to do all the things that nobody wants to do with me anymore. Like I love sledding and tobogganing and
Yes.
going on my paddleboard and swimming out to the dock. I love all that stuff.
It is like reconnecting with the inner child. Like when we first started sledding with Gus, like when the other boys were smaller, so Gus and I would go like out at night and so I'd be like down the because it's more fun at night and it's more fun, like it's just you're like sledding like it is so fun.
Yeah.
And I see how like with their dad, like he's reconnect, well, not that he disconnected from hockey ever,
Ever.
but it's more fun for him to be involved in that way. So it is a gift in life. So
are your boys going to play hockey then? Or?
oh, they are. It's so hard. I am going to complain that it's way too frequent.
Much, yeah.
We only have one day off a week.
I know. And they go. And then the little ones just grow up at the rink, sort of.
Yeah, I don't hang out there. I can't. I I refuse. I refuse to give up my career
Yeah.
for my 5 and 8-year-old hockey career.
Yeah.
Like, this is like, and drag all the other family members around during supper
Mhm.
times. So like I have some pretty hard rules. Like, yes, you are taking the rest of the kids. You don't have to be on the ice with the other one. If this is your thing, you love hockey, you get to go. I'm working because as a stay-at-home parent, like, my work hours are the in-between hours. Clearly, it's
Yeah.
the night, and with you right now. Like, I have to fit it in the nooks and crannies of my everyday life, and it's sometimes really exhausting, and you have to like love it and be obsessed with it and be
Mhm.
motivated to do
Mhm.
so. But I feel like it's important, like, for a reason. So especially with the book and the community, like, I just want to tell women and or uh emerging creatives like, I want to give them the shortcuts that we never had,
Mhm.
or introduce them to a world or other people or a community, to support them, because we never had that support. I mean, you had that support in a different way, and now we have to do it through social media. I
Yeah.
mean, we could still do that, but it's harder to physically get together.
It is. Yeah. Yeah.
So I think, yeah, well, I'm totally obsessed. That's my problem. It's all, I think about it so much. And I think when you're a new parent, like, you cling on to any sense of independence.
No kidding, right? Because you just get swallowed
Okay.
up by parenthood, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So you're like, this is mine,
Yeah.
and I am keeping it
Yeah.
and fighting super hard for it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, there's just like, uh and I know, and I hope that inspires other women to fight too, because I do know some moms who don't, they're like, oh, they're gone all day. I'm like, what? They're not allowed to be golfing for 10 hours on the weekend, like maybe once this summer, but
Yeah.
you have 4 kids, so
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Say this with me, no, no.
Say it. Yeah. Put your tongue up
Yeah.
there. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like, Carly doesn't golf much because we just can't. And it's a partnership. We both chose
Right.
to do this. We both have businesses to
Mhm.
run, although it took a while for people to understand mine.
That you have a business. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, are you
Yeah.
still doing that painting thing? People
Yeah.
say to
To
me,
be
right?
considered like my grandma today. What are you going to do when they go back to school? Right? Like, that's a question where you're like, well,
Yeah.
I can maybe have some time to wash my hair. I don't know.
Mom bun.
It is. It's kind of an
Yeah.
old concept,
Yeah.
and but and to be like, someone said, well, when I was nominated for the Women in Business this year, they're like, well, you don't have a physical business. I was like, why is that making my business any less of a business?
No
Like,
kidding. No kidding.
I'm sure lots of people would love to see the numbers that I do from a storefront that sits online, rather than paying for a lease on their building and
No
paying an
kidding.
employee or several employees
Mhm.
to run their shop when you don't have to,
Yeah.
right? Like, my business looks different than, a average considered business.
That's
That doesn't make it not a business.
Mhm. But I think the whole world is changing now too, especially since COVID, right? Like so many people are working from home or from wherever they want to be. And it does make quite a difference. Like the online stuff is amazing. Amazing. When I
Yeah.
found out about Etsy and I was like, what's that? And then somebody said
Yeah.
Facebook, and I'm like, what's that? That was
And those have been integral moments probably in your career, right?
absolutely, absolutely right. You grow from being just this, not just because I've been very fortunate to have been kept busy by Lloydminster and area for years now, a couple of decades. And then, but you grow to like this, you can sell anywhere in the world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just because you don't have a shop doesn't mean you're not like, you do classes, you do workshops, you do online stuff, like that is a legitimate moving and shaking business, but it's hard for people. Like I know so many women who, and you listen to them, you hear them, they have podcasts, they have like Jenny Kutcher is like 7 figures a year. Started as a photographer in her basement.
Yeah.
I feel such a connection to her. I was like, I'm sitting in my basement too.
But my feet are cold.
Yeah.
Mine are.
When she said she thought of her book during a massage, I was like, holy shit, I have to get on her podcast. Because I literally had the same, I was in a massage and I sat up and got her to stop, which is super awkward because I'm like partially nude. And I'm like, can you pass me my purse? I need to get my phone and make a voice memo because I can't let the title of my book and the first chapter idea slip from my head right now.
Is that amazing? It's amazing.
Yeah. So I like, it's so, because my mind was quiet. That makes sense.
It totally does. Like I get them in the shower.
Oh, nice.
Like the first angel wings I did with my mom and dad's love letters.
Right. Oh, that was the greatest.
I had the letters and I didn't know what I was going to do with them. And I was in the shower one day and it was just like literally the water just like, whoosh. I knew what it looked like. I knew what I was going to do. It was like instantaneous and you just get chills everywhere and just like, I have to write that down.
Yeah.
I know what I'm going to do. And it's just sometimes I take super long showers just waiting for the next like really good idea. Like, okay, go on. Or blow dry my hair. I think you have to heat my head up. I don't know.
It's so funny. Like we have to actually, at this point, consciously make time for those times in our day because we are so stimulated all the time. So it is really important to like either do yoga or meditate or take long baths or showers or like, because the magic like appears in those in between clear moments where your brain's not stimulated. And we do this thing in Art Academy and we show up every day and I call it making space. And I give them like a cue, like actually mostly everyone listening is, a lot of people here are members of the Color Me Happy community. So similarly to how we theme weekend inspiration and theme podcasts, we always talk about something. So in those making space times, because kids never get time to make space anymore. They're like at school, then they're at their activity, then they're on YouTube or they're playing a video game or they're like not listening to music. I can tell you that. They looked at me like there was crickets. It was just like, we don't listen to music in our rooms. Who are you, old woman? Like, I'm like, when you hang out at night and listen to music, and they're like, no. So I spend time with them making space and cueing them up on like self-love and, you're right where you're meant to be. You are who you're meant to be, and stuff like that. So trying to build them up and encourage them to take walks and, find neat things. Like we went for a long walk today. That was what we did. They took pictures along the way. So finding beautiful places and then they're storyboarding about it. But like how it's such a wonderful thing. And we have to keep remembering that we need those moments of ahas in our day.
Yeah. Julia Cameron wrote The Artist's Way.
Right.
And her morning pages, right? So
how many people has that book and her morning pages affected? I wonder.
Yeah. Amazing. Dawn Floan and I went to her talk a couple of years ago, well, just before COVID, I guess, like that October, and she was in Edmonton and we went to listen to her speak. That it was a whole day and we did exercise. She's amazing. And talk about boundaries too, right? She started right off. This is, I will not hug anybody. I will not autograph anything. It's just like, whoop, like you go right on. Yeah. But the morning pages, like lots of thoughts and ideas come out in that for me.
Yeah. They're amazing. And not only that, but just therapeutic in general.
Yeah.
Not just for creators.
There's a lot of like,
who's coming to Edmonton? Big Magic, Elizabeth
Oh, Elizabeth Gilbert?
Gilbert is coming to Edmonton in the spring. We've got to go. Like I think my sister and my studio manager are like, we're going and we haven't bought the tickets. We have to go. That'll be so good.
That would be amazing. That's an amazing book.
Yeah.
Like, have you read it? Do you know the concept of big magic? Like, it's just.
Oh yeah, I've read it twice.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like, but
I don't know if I've listened to it. A lot of times, I think I'll listen to it. A lot of times when I like a book, and it is a season of audiobooks for me, let me tell you. I haven't even taken the time to look through my own book.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I haven't announced it yet because I haven't looked through it. I just have to let it go. If there's the odd thing, like the spine like has a little bit of a seam on it, and I'm like, my son's like, who cares? I was like, I care.
Mama cares.
Care, and I'm gonna fix it, and I'm gonna wait till the next one comes in the mail so it's better.
Yeah.
So I care. Because I spend so much time on this fucking cover. I care so hard.
No,
and 2 years writing it. Anyways, yeah, it's a season of me to have just pop audiobooks in while I'm driving.
Yeah.
So I should do hers again. But I just discovered, I'd known about Jenna Kutcher, but I love how her podcast pumps me up. So either that or a good, they can change your life, your whole life.
Totally. Yeah.
Seriously. Jen Sincero's,
Badass.
You're a Badass. And You're a Badass at Making Money. I actually read first because I had such terrible money mindset issues, like asking for money, like even receiving money I just get so awkward about it. Yeah. And now I'm like, I think it's an ongoing procedure.
There's levels, right?
Yeah. And what I am fine with, right? And so it literally, I would not be here without that one book that I was embarrassed and was hiding at first.
The Badass with Money book?
At Making Money. That's how terrible my mind, like I couldn't even show people I was reading it. Like that was how, like
I can relate to that one too.
Yeah. It's hard for me to even be like, I love money. Like it's hard. Like I'm like, what will people think when I say that? They'll think I'm a terrible person, but I've worked really hard to say that out loud.
You need money to live, and
I deserve more than a minimum wage person for the fucking effort. I'm getting so tired. So lots of F-bombs.
Yeah.
I deserve more than minimum. And for years I made that with so much effort.
Me too. So, I do my taxes at the end of the year, and I think I could be working at McDonald's and probably
make more. You'd make more and have benefits.
Yeah.
And like some other perks. Yeah. McDonald's being one of them.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know what? No, I deserve like a decent, like I'm not asking for over the moon crazy here. I'm just asking for like more than my husband so I can prove a point.
Yeah. I was like journaling yesterday, and that was that sort of thing, like just to prove it. There is part of that too.
I just like to sneak over what he's making. That would be super. Thank you, universe.
Yeah. See, you're gonna manifest that now, Jenna.
I'm close. And I only did that in 2 years, so
good for you.
Well, I love money. Just keep saying it. No, it took some shifting, and it's not just saying you love it. It's figuring out and being open to, you can't expect it to happen the one way. Like it can never, it's being multifaceted and having a whole bunch of, and I'm probably even saying it wrong, but like you can't be dependent on many income streams, and one might be working and one might dry up, and then the well like somehow springs again, and then it's just like, so adding those things, and it's been years of me adding little by little stuff.
Mhm.
And a lot of stuff didn't work, let me tell you.
I
So
know there's a lot of spaghetti on the wall.
there's a lots of spaghetti stuck to the wall for years, and there were things I gave up. Not a lot. Like I said, more worked out than I thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there were some things I was like, yeah, I don't want to anymore. So, or that
It's true.
just didn't work, and it's not going to work.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
so like when it comes to competing to like big companies that can pump out like say art prints, like
Yeah.
no, art prints aren't, I sell fine art prints. That's my market, and
Mhm.
it's of fine art pieces, and it's not of mass produced this or that or whatever. And you have to try it, and it has art licensing's worked for actually a lot of Melanie Vaughn does really well with art licensing.
Oh,
And you know what? I'll have Melanie on to follow up with this conversation and
mhm.
speak about art licensing. She can't say who she works for. It's very
Ooh.
secret. But she makes a living. She was in law school. I can't remember if she got her degree or not. And then she loved art and quit. She has a great story, but I made friends with her before my podcast, so now I have to rehear her story. One night we just talked on was it Zoom or on the phone for like 3 hours, and
Oh.
she just told me her whole. I was curious about Minted. You've heard of Minted?
Oh yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So she does really well on Minted, and I wanted to know how.
Yeah.
But again, it just didn't work for me. It wasn't working. I couldn't get in with their contests or whatever. And it applied to her work.
Mhm.
So I'm super proud of her.
Yeah.
And I have found other ways of making it work
Yeah.
that are really surprisingly I'm more fulfilled by. So yay.
Yay.
Right?
Yeah.
Everyone's path is different.
It
Um,
is. It is. I sort of thought I'd be further along my path at this point. It's still very
we
much learning,
We've
but
all got a lot going on though, too.
yeah.
Like, you have a very solid, like your family means, and this just by knowing you a little bit, the world, and you don't sacrifice your time with them,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you have found balance between that and what you're doing, I
Yeah.
think that's the most beautiful balance of all. You're living your life.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what it is, right? It's not just all career and it's not all art. Like you gotta get them together and hug them and take them bowling and tobogganing.
Those are the good parts.
Yeah.
The
They are.
reason why I'm pushing so hard now is so I can have more freedom and time for the good parts.
Yeah.
Um,
Makes a lot of difference.
Hopefully I won't burn my mind out. But in the meantime, and Jenny Pritchard also talks about this on her podcast, and she calls it making pancakes. So having time to make pancakes on the
Yeah.
weekend.
There
Yeah.
you go. There you go.
So instead of, finding me like struggling to fit in all the in-between times, make more pancakes.
Yeah. I'm pretty lucky. I got a built-in chef upstairs there. It's like it's pretty darn good.
Oh,
It's like, what do you want for supper tonight? I'm like,
really?
well, yeah, very fortunate.
I'll come stay with you on the weekend.
Yeah, come on over.
It's not his fault. I'm like a kitchen
You're
hog.
an artist in the kitchen too. Right?
Yeah, my mom was a very good cook. His mom's a really good, like amazing cook. My dad's a chef. I'm a kitchen hog. I don't like people in there.
Mhm.
So that's my own doing.
Yeah.
He's also not fighting me to get in there. But I wouldn't mind like a meal or two a week.
Well, I'll tell you, in the early days of our marriage, and he'd say, "How do I do this?" And it would just be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
it had to be
Learning
so
curve.
turn the oven, turn the
Curve.
stove on to what number of like 6?"
Yeesh. Yeah, there's a learning curve,
Yeah.
and you don't want to waste it. It's because I'm so efficient, because I've been cooking since I was like 4.
But your
So
kids are doing it with you too, though. That is beautiful, Brandy. That's gorgeous.
yeah,
And they'll know it.
Gus makes sunny side up eggs every morning. So let me tell you, that's water in a pan, that's oil, that's setting the stove on, that's putting a lid on, that's like
Yeah.
flipping it out of the pan onto sometimes he plates it with ketchup. I can't eat eggs anymore, so I'm very sad that someone's giving me right with. I have to teach him the next skill.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yes, and I think this is missed a lot today because people have their children in so many things.
They don't
What
have
about life skills?
Yeah.
What about life skills?
Yeah.
Those are the most important skills of all.
Yeah.
And when I don't want my kids in more than one thing, that is for sure, because then we miss out on the life skills part. And they are all going to know how to, after I lived with this guy who doesn't cook at all, these kids are all going to know how to freaking cook. I can tell you that, because they eat so much. I can't keep up. I just made 65 cookies. It's like they're half gone. And so
Yeah.
Teddy actually, this won't air, but Teddy on Instagram today, he made his own banana freezer popsicles. So you freeze bananas and you can either drizzle chocolate and my favorite is to drizzle chocolate and peanut butter, but he dipped them in yogurt and then did sprinkles on top. So he did it all. He put the sticks in, and I was just like, he's 3. So
amazing though.
That's important. I was impressed. He wouldn't let me help him.
Yeah.
And on Instagram, he licks everyone. And I was like, what they don't know won't hurt them, Teddy.
Those are my bananas.
He licked the yogurt around it and then re-dipped it and put it on the pan. And I was just like, okay.
Don't show the other boys.
Just more sprinkles.
That is the coolest thing though, like that you let them in the kitchen with you and
it's a disgusting mess, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
I should go to bed, and so should you.
Yeah.
We'll have you back on, Michelle.
That's
pick another subject because you know so much. So maybe we can talk about Etsy or shops and murals more. Like I'd love to dive into that subject more because you're so encouraging and you're so full of experience, and we've run out of time. So
okay.
I wish I could talk to you forever, but where can everyone find you online?
I'm at michellelakeart.com. That's my website. At Michelle Lake Art on Instagram and Michelle Lake Fine Art on Facebook. So I'm in all the places.
Well, happy holidays, and I hope you guys have a great season, and I'll let you know when this all happens.
Sounds wonderful. And I can't wait for your book. And to see you on Art Queen.
I'll let you know. You can order it now. It just the spine color might be leaking too hard to one side, which I actually think is a printing thing. Like I think when it's positioned, like it could go either way every time, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm just being nitpicky. Anyway, you can order it, and it comes with a free audiobook.
Oh, perfect.
Like when you get your book, which by the way is still in editing. That's why I'm so tired. I found out this week it had too many spacebar clicks because when you come back in with sound, and lucky I've caught it. So
I don't know what that means. What you just said.
Oh, that's okay. Sound editing, like there was a click in the sound editing, and the levels weren't quite to my standards. So because as shitty as my podcast is like right now, because I'm too lazy to set the stuff up, I do have the stuff and I know how to edit sound and video. So I knew there were mistakes. I did minor in film in university.
Oh
yeah, secret. That
won't tell anybody.
There's no film jobs around here. I don't know why.
Weird.
There's no.
Did you read it yourself on Audible then?
I did.
Oh, awesome.
That's what I meant. When you come in while you're recording on Adobe Audition, to come back in, or stop it, you like hit the space, or not to stop it, to come. I'm so tired. Anyway, you hit the space bar at some point in another, and I could hear it when I was listening to the book. So I was trying to find the sample to put on to Authors Republic, and I was like, oh my gosh, the clicks are in here still. And I had like a 3-day panic of finding an editor to take them out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So here it is somewhere at the back. Or no, it's at the front. Okay, sorry, Michelle.
No, that's okay.
Here we go. Look at this.
there it
Get
is.
your free download.
Oh, awesome.
And it takes you to the link to download your free audiobook. And the coolest thing about my book is there's swears. And I got a 13-year-old to do all my illustrations.
Oh my God.
So this chapter or subsection is called Fuck It, Eat All the Cookies.
Eat all the cookies.
Yeah, there's a bit of humor also here's. So
you're amazing, girl. You're
sorry.
Amazing.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry. It'll make you feel things that will make you see your everyday ordinary as extraordinary. Okay, friend, get some rest and we will talk to you soon.
Okay, great. Thanks, Brandy.
Bye, Michelle.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for joining in today. I sure do appreciate your time. I hope that you're recovering from the holidays and getting into the new year with beautiful expectations, but know that, like I said before, daily habits actually are the best way, habits that you'll stick to, like realistic habits that you'll stick to. And that comes with like living a happy, balanced life. And people are like, there's no such thing as balance. Well, it is if you take it with a grain of salt. There is such a thing as balance because I lived it with so many habits worked into my day to make it successful. And you have to leave room for life because not every day is going to work out the way actually they never go to plan. I wake up every morning with like really I'm like, this is going to be a great day. And then I'm like, oh right. Oh right. Yeah, they went, like last night, for example, my husband stayed at their grandma's because his sisters are in town an hour past their bedtime. And I was like, cool. Yeah, they'll be fine. And of course there was like bedtime breakdowns, which I let him deal with because he stayed out late. I just went and had my bath. I was like, I'm not fucking doing that. He can deal with the aftermath of, however, he decided he was going to work today, so I dealt with the next day aftermath of that. Wasn't cool, but it's a day, and somehow I made it here to speak to you. So I have a way of practicing like outdoor time, self-care, fitness, fitting it all in one day to, maintaining balance and maintaining goals. So, small goals, and sometimes you get to them and sometimes you don't. But we really talk about it in my new book, Calling Me Happy, See Your Everyday Ordinary is Extraordinary. I'm not sure why I sang that. I'm really proud of it. The reviews have been coming back and they are positive, and I am so happy. My book is not perfect, nor am I. I'll admit that right now. And even at my reading, I was like, that is supposed to be woman, not women, but whatever. And yeah, we're not perfect. We're humans. And I was like, okay, it's probably like 85% okay. So it's out there. It took 2 years. Fuck it. I'll fix it later. And it's been a really cool journey so far. But it's there on Amazon, and I'm learning all about Amazon, which is a whole thing in itself. But it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool helping other people, and like when I talked about my goal and purpose, it's like helping other people see that time is our most precious commodity, and you need to, how can I say this? Time is our most precious commodity, and you need not waste it, and you just don't know what tomorrow will bring. So I can guarantee you that there's going to be some really hard days, and a regular day is not one of them. I mean, they kind of vary from good or bad, but there's like ultimately take you down days, months, or years, and So while you got a semi-ordinary day, fucking milk it for all it's worth, because you have to be grateful for those, because there's just some harder days that will come. And that comes with a lot of self-care, right? So here is a self-care tip from Nouveau, our beautiful sponsor. And, okay, so keep it simple, okay? So self-care, keep it simple, right? Get into your routine. Vanessa from Nouveau suggests booking a consultation with skincare. So they do a lot of skincare. I go to them for skincare. And that's not always perfect too. And it's my biggest, it's my biggest thing that I'm self-conscious about. And I talked about it on Instagram for the first time the other day. I showed up naked, not naked, but like no makeup and no filter, and it was very scary and I cried. But they've been helping me, but it's a lot to do with what you ingest, and so I'm working on that with the naturopath, and it hasn't been great over Christmas because obviously I'm super stressed, and that shows on my skin, and or I ate Christmas stuff, right? So anyways, but they have free consultations, and so if you, and most skincare places do, they can recommend a proper lineup specifically for your skin. You don't need a 20-step routine to have amazing skin. You just need the right products for you. I totally agree. I'm still like testing stuff, but I love what they say, like especially after like treatments, or if you have like any acne happening or something, like makeup is not the best. If you just do like those like the SPF that has like a tint in it is like safer to put on irritated skin, and stuff like that. Anyways, I love them. They're the best. Check them out. Nouveau Laser and Aesthetic Center. They are local. We are also supported by Oasis Hot Yoga and Spin Studio, and I love it. It's a true oasis in our community, where you can go and practice self-care, relax, connect to yourself. They also have these really cool like outings, like brunch and yoga with your besties. Those were fun. I didn't record them on my phone because I was having so much fun and I forgot to take pictures and videos. And it's like a quiet space where you can reconnect. It's like dark and warm and the best. And there's plants everywhere, and they do such an amazing job, and their staff is extraordinarily kind, and they empower one another, and they empower you. It's such a safe space, which is the way you should feel in a fitness-minded space, especially if you're starting the year with some fitness goals. I think it's really nice to connect to your why you're doing it and connect to loving yourself. Our third sponsor is Red Bicycle Communications. They're a full women owned business and run business in our community, and they give back to our community, and they support our community, and I'm so proud that they sponsor us. So thank you for the beautiful year, everyone. This has been such a privilege and honor for you to be a small part of my life, and it's just really special, and you're the one who helps me help others connect to their creativity, and when you leave a comment, or when you reach out, or when you leave a testimonial, that is also helping someone else feel better about who they are. The idea is to empower people through creativity, and I'm so excited. I have another big announcement that I cannot say yet, but it will be my ability to give back to creative trauma programming in my community. And I can't wait in probably about 3 or 4 months that I'll get to tell you what that's going to look like. And so check out brandyhofer.ca for our portrait class and our custom artwork class. That's what we talked about in this podcast. Thank you for being here. Happy New Year, my friend. Love you so much. All the love in the new year, and I can never say goodbye. Okay, bye. If you're looking for some time for yourself to relax, release and unwind, Oasis has the perfect space for you. They offer yoga and spin classes of all levels. Whether you are a beginner or advanced student, Oasis thrives on accommodating all aspects of the practice. Let their serene environment and gracious staff help you in your journey of peace, healing, and strength. Sign up online at www.oasishotyogastudio.com or by downloading the Oasis Hot Yoga Studio app. Feel like yourself. You deserve it.